Addressing the nation, the Prime Minister said during his Independence Day speech that India is steadily on the path of growth. We are on our way to becoming the third largest economy in the world. But is there reason to celebrate? Let's get started with busting some myths. Well, in this episode, what we are going to do is take a closer look at what the ground realities are. And I'm going to only cover one aspect of price rise. When we say that India is progressing, India is becoming a robust economy, has the quality of life for its citizens improved? Are people able to afford better? Has their lifestyles improved? The standard of living improved? Has the cost of living reduced? These are important factors for a common citizen because that will determine that whether life is any easier, any better for him as an Indian. So to understand that, let's look at the CPI or the Consumer Price Index figures. Let's tell you a few stark realities. Reality number one, more than half of India's household spend at least half their budget on food. Reality number two, tomatoes have seen an annual inflation of 201% in July. That's the level of increase in the prices of tomatoes, a very staple food item for all Indians. It accounts for 9.4% of the CPI vegetable basket, almost 10%, 1/10 of the vegetable basket is constituted by tomatoes with respect to its demand, and 0.57% of the overall CPI basket. That is just to give you an understanding of how important this food item is, and look at the increase in price of tomatoes. Reality number three, vegetable prices have increased a staggering 37% on an annual basis. So every year, for every 100, you're paying 37 rupees more now for vegetable, a 37% increase on an annual basis. Reality number four, 15 out of the 22 vegetables in the CPI basket showing double-digit inflation in July 2023. Remember, these are categories decided by the government. In the CPI basket of vegetables, there are 22 items. 15 out of them are showing double-digit inflation in July 2023. Inflation in cereals, 13.04% in July 2023. Cereals account for 9.7% of the CPI basket compared to 6% for vegetables. Reality number six, inflation in rice, 12.96%, the highest in the current series. A staple food item once again. A lot of Indians in this country are rice eaters, and for them, the inflation is to the tune of 12.96%. Reality number seven, inflation in pulses, 13.3%, highest since January 2021. So all your dals, staple again in the Indian food palette, the prices have increased in double-digit figures. Reality number eight, food inflation overall increased by 11.5%, highest since April 2020. So what does that indicate? That we are paying more for the same number of items. So what are you going to do? You would either have to increase your income to meet that level of expenditure, and if that is not possible, you have to cut down expenditure. You can eat less now compared to before with the same amount of income. And what does that mean? Has your standard of living improved or has it deteriorated? So since we referred a lot to CPI, a quick breakdown of what this term means. CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. It's a macroeconomic indicator that measures inflation. It refers to an increase in the prices of select goods over a select period of time. It collects data on fixed basket of goods. Who needs it? The governments, both state and central government needs this figure to see to what extent prices are rising, because then they will have to accordingly decide their monetary policy. Monetary policy, in fact, is decided by the RBI. So CPI is used by RBI for maintaining money supply and price stability. What does it indicate? I already mentioned cost of living, purchasing power of consumers, price surge in consumer goods and essential services, and it indicates the value of Indian rupee. Can it purchase more or less compared to before, compared to the base year? And that is something, again, I'll come to. How is CPI calculated? The general price level in the markets in a particular time period compared to a base year is the percentage that you get for the CPI, cost of a fixed basket of goods and services in the current year divided by the cost of a fixed basket of goods and services in the base year multiplied by 100. So that's simply the formula to get this figure in percentage. As of now, the consumer price index is calculated taking into consideration 299 essential goods or items. What is a base year? It is a time frame in the past that is set in the benchmark. Again, it is something that is monitored by the government, by the Central Statistics Office and the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. It changes from time to time. Who can control the CPI? RBI can, in a way, control inflation. They will regulate the inflation through monetary policies. But there again, they have a tough balancing act, because the moment they try to control inflation, squeeze liquidity or the money supply in the market, they end up compromising with growth. So that is the fix that we are in right now with the price rise situation. Is the country really progressing in that sense? Are the common man in this country able to afford better? I leave it to you to decide.